So let's talk about being confident in a business setting. So let's say you have your first big business meeting that you need to go to. There are 3 points we need to discuss how you're going to be confident and come over as confident and being the right person for the job. So when you walk into a meeting, the first thing everybody sees is your clothes and your appearance. So always make sure that you are at least dressed up 10% more than the meeting you are going to, that the people that are working there. And always make sure you don't overdress as well. So let's say you have a meeting with a restaurant or something, or you're working at a school or something that the people are quite casual dressed at. Don't go and dress a suit with a tie and go to there, or you're going to look completely out of place. But let's say you have a meeting where you're going maybe at a finance place, you're working at a bank or something, and you know everyone is most likely going to be wearing a suit and a really nice tie and everything. So make sure that you are dressed at least 10% better than anyone in the room, so that you, when you walk in, you immediately catches people's attention. So the next thing is grooming as well. So if you're wearing a nice suit and you look professional, but your hair is messy and your beard is messy, or ladies, if you haven't done your hair neatly, it's going to look bad. So always make sure your grooming game is up to 100%. You're always groomed well. And ladies, if you're doing your hair, make sure if it's worn loose, it's very professional. And if you maybe go and make a bun, it's really professionally made as well, and it always looks neat. So the next point we're going to be working on is being engaging. So being engaging means when you get to the meeting, I know a lot of people are so stressed about getting there and you don't know what to say to anyone, you maybe don't know anyone. So the first thing I would highly recommend is if you walk into a meeting, you're dressed nice, your appearance is looking good, be engaging with other people. So let's say maybe there's a conference room and everyone is just standing around a little bit, they're still waiting for some people. Go and introduce yourself to people. Make sure people know your name and you go and introduce yourself to everyone in the room if you can, if it's possible, and maybe make a little bit of small talk with people. So another point where engagement comes in is, let's say the meeting has started. So make sure in the earliest time in the meeting when you can, ask a question. Asking a question is a major part of a meeting, so that you just don't sit there in a corner and don't say anything throughout the meeting. Ask questions. And if you get the opportunity to actually, let's say someone is talking about a point and you can add on to that point, make sure that you do it. You're going to come over as an authority figure and that you know what you're talking about. So always make sure that you are engaging in a meeting. Don't go and make a fool of yourself and just talk the whole time. Find the right spaces in the meeting where you can maybe bring up your points or ask a question or just talk to people. So the next point is being prepared. So always be prepared for a meeting. I know if you get to a meeting and you are not prepared, it's a disaster. So always make sure if you're maybe going to a business meeting or you're going to visit a client at their own offices, that you have at least a background about what the business is, or the person that you're going to have a meeting with, or the topic you're going to be talking about in a meeting, in your job maybe. Make sure you are prepared. It's crucial. Even if you're quiet in a meeting and your appearance is good and everything, just make sure that you are prepared. It's extremely important. So a few things about being prepared that I've seen is that I've made mistakes personally is my research. Sometimes I'm really in a haste and I'm busy with a lot of projects and I just forget my research, to do my research, and I get to a business and I make an absolute fool of myself. So make sure that you always have your research outlined, that you know what's going on in the company or the topic that you're going to be talking about. So the next thing is, always make sure you have a notepad with you. You're always going to have to be able to take notes when you need to, or write down a point that you need to remember, that you don't make a fool about yourself by the next time that you forgot to do something. So always have a notepad with you and make sure you take notes through the whole meeting. So another thing is, let's say you are leading the meeting. I cannot tell you how many times this has happened to me. Make sure you are planned out well through the meeting and you have all your files. I have come to meetings, I've made a major planning of the meeting, I've run the meeting really well, and then I forget one of my files in my meeting. At home or something, I forget a piece of paper somewhere, or I just misplace it, and then I need to quickly work around it. You don't want that type of pressure on yourself. So always make sure before you go out to a meeting that you are prepared, you've done your research, you have your notepad or something to make notes on, and you have all your documents with you that you need to maybe present or that you're going to be talking about that you need to have with you. So always when you're in a meeting, make sure you are relaxed. A big thing about meetings that just in my first few meetings I was really stressed always, And when I got there, I didn't know what to say to people. It takes practice. Just make sure you get and you implement these 3 tips that I gave you now, and it's going to make a world of difference, and it's going to take so much pressure away from you. So another thing is as well, if you go into a meeting, always look confident. Even if you aren't confident, just portray yourself as confident and make sure that if other people see you, they think you are confident at least. That's why engaging is so important. And talking to people, because if you're talking to people and you're making a bit of conversation with people, they see you as a confident person. And when you're asking questions in a meeting, you look like an authority figure. So make sure you are, all of these points that I quickly talked about, that you have them down. So guys, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to go down and subscribe, and make sure that you hit the bell icon and give us a thumbs up.